Hey guys, I am cmasupra and welcome to another Company of Heroes video. I'm playing as Wehrmacht, my opponent is the Brits, and we're playing on the map Bow Lowlands. And when I started this game, I didn't actually realize my opponent was the Brits, I thought they were Americans. So I pretty much did everything expecting to play against the Americans, despite the fact that you can clearly see on the minimap that there is a strategic point in the base of my opponent. So I really should have known that I was playing against Brits, especially from the loading screen as well. But I didn't realize that, so I started everything off playing, or as if I was going to play against Americans. And that's how I'm choosing the points that my pioneers are supposed to capture and in what order they're supposed to capture them. That's pretty much the only thing I change whenever I play versus Brits or versus Americans when I'm playing as Wehrmacht. But I guess lucky for me, that is the only thing I changed, so it didn't turn out too bad that I was planning to play against Americans. So, anyways, my opponent said he should have my name. I believe that's what he said. Anyways, I think I actually missed it while I'm recording this commentary. And I said we'll have to say who's worse because, yeah, I am bad at this game. That's why I have this name. And here's a perfect example of it. My Volks are going left, despite the fact that I put the Wehrmacht quarters on the very right side of my base. And the reason I put it on the very right was so that they would come to the right side of that bridge that is on your screen. I wanted them on the right side, not the left side. I wanted them to have to cross the bridge to be able to get to the victory point and the strategic point, but despite the fact that I put my Wehrmacht quarters on the far right, my Volk still went left because that was the closer way for them to get there, even though it's not the way I wanted them to go. And for all of you who are wondering why would I want them to cross the bridge, the simple fact is if the opponent suddenly showed up on the right side, my Volks would be closer to where they could attack the opponent rather than capture these points. And also, if my opponent decided to show up in the middle, I would have the green cover of the bridge, while my opponent would not have the green cover of the bridge. Coming from the left side, I have no cover, and also if my pioneers get attacked on the right, my Volks can't really do anything about that because they're too far away. So that's why I wanted them to go right. And in this case, with my MG coming out now, I actually made it go right. Even though it's a longer path, I forced it to go right. Because I was just like, I want you guys to go right so you can help my pioneers if they need help on the right side. I guess I should mention the reason I'm only capturing the right side of the map right now is because, as you know, I was expecting Americans, so I was planning to lock down the middle with an MG and then have the whole right side, including the victory point, so that my opponent wouldn't be able to easily overrun me because I spread out too thin. But playing against Brits, it's really hard to spread out too thin as Wehrmacht. I mean, it is possible, but it's not as easy as it is if you were playing against Americans. Oh well, I guess right now, I haven't seen any enemies. I've only seen the land that they've captured, the points that they've captured, not the land. I guess it is land, but I've seen the points that they've captured, and they're all on the left side, so I'm just like, well then, if you're just gonna let me set up base here, I guess I will do that. And you can set up your base as well, even though your base will be more protected than mine in the end, because you are Brits and they are a defensive faction. And that's why a lot of people like them, despite the fact that I don't like them. For that exact reason, they are too defensive. I really don't think they belong in this game, but regardless, I do play as them, I just don't like them. I've been talking a lot about everything except the point of this game, which is in the title. I think I called it Avoiding Artillery, which is actually somewhat close to my previous video, which dealt with tactical retreats based on when you know artillery is coming, so that they're kind of related, but they're not exactly the same. And what I mean here by avoiding artillery is basically guessing where your opponent is going to send artillery and then moving away from that spot. Because that's quite an important thing to do, as I mentioned in my last video. So my opponent has not shown up anywhere on the map, except for the points he has captured, but you can clearly see I am in some points that he's captured, and he's also capturing the long, skinny munitions point close to my base on the left side of the map. And now I find a Bren carrier. So just like, yay, something to shoot at. Come over here, I've teched up to tier 2. I want to shoot you with the Panzerfaust. Come over here. Come over here to my Volks, my 2 Volk squads. I will take you down. He decides to come over, so I'm just like, hey, yes. Let's shoot a Panzerfaust at you, just like I wanted to. And the sad thing is he has the upgrade, the Bren upgrade, so he spent 50 munitions on that, but it actually does a lot more damage than I would have liked, and sadly my Panzerfaust does not take down the Bren carrier. I wasn't able to shoot it to death. And the rest of my opponent's forces decide to show up all of a sudden. Out of the blue, they came out of, I don't know where they came out of, because I did not know they were with the Bren carrier. I just saw a Bren carrier passing by, I was just like, hey, let's shoot the Bren carrier. And then my opponent's forces showed up and annihilated me, look at that. Almost lost 2 Volk squads right there, and I'm about to lose a 3rd, which showed up, but I didn't realize they were going to show up. And I'm moving this Volk squad to the right, the one-man Volk squad, before I retreat it, simply because I want to make sure it retreats through friendly territory, not my opponent's territory. Because if it retreats to my opponent's territory, my opponent might be able to kill it. And I believe I know I made a video on it, but I believe the name was Retreat Paths, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about this game now. I decided to move my MG back so that it could cover all 3 directions my opponent can come from, which would be left, I guess, left top, left, and then bottom, I guess you could say. I don't know, but those 3 directions that you can come from, except for the bridge, that's the one place my opponent can't really come from because I'm watching the back of it very closely. And I want my MG to be able to fire anywhere my opponent decides to come from. Something I should say is that MGs are not the most useful unit against Brits. Bikes are very useful because they do a ton of damage to Brit infantry for some reason. So you can actually do bike spam early on, and as long as your opponent doesn't get enough fuel or munitions early on, you'll be able to do bike spam for quite a while because bikes are very strong against Brit infantry. And here is the mistake my opponent made. He should be retreating his lieutenant. Wow, he's 1 hit away from death. I gotta kill him. I gotta kill him with my Volks. Ooh, a mortar. Yeah, that thing might be a little more important to kill than a lieutenant. The lieutenant's almost dead. He's gonna be cautious with it. He's gonna be very cautious with it because it is almost dead. And that mortar would cause me a lot of troubles that the lieutenant would just not cause. It's much more important to get rid of a mortar than a lieutenant. Unless that lieutenant has like vet 2 or 3 or maybe even 1. If it has vet 1, you'd have to kind of weigh how dangerous that mortar is compared to how dangerous that lieutenant is. But when the lieutenant does not have vet and he's almost dead, the mortar is a much better target to take down because it will do damage to you and the lieutenant won't exactly do much damage at all. So I'm moving back up to the, not back up, rather back out to the left because my opponent's not attacking me. And I want some action going on before this becomes a camp fest and he wins from artillery, which is actually kind of what this became in the end, even though I was trying to stop it like this by moving out. And I'm expecting tanks to show up at some point, and I'm just like, ooh, a triage center, not a triage center, but casualty clearing center, station, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, CSC, so center. Casualty clearing center, so I should go kill that. But first, let's capture this point. Let's draw him out away from it, so he can't spend 45 munitions and heal his units while fighting me. Because if he can heal his units as he's fighting me, I'm probably not going to win that fight. It's kind of like the reason Vet 1 Pioneers, despite the fact that they only get a little bit of health regeneration, will usually win against Vet 0 Engineers when playing as Wehrmacht versus Americans, or the other way around, Americans versus Wehrmacht. So even though Vet 1 doesn't provide any damage bonus or any health bonus or any protection bonus or any armor bonus or any accuracy bonus, no bonuses like that, Vet 1 will still help your Pioneers win because of that little bit of health regeneration it gives. So that's the exact same reason I don't want to fight him while he is next to his triage, and not triage center, I keep calling it that, the casualty clearing center. So I keep trying to lure him out. So now I'm backing up my Volks, trying to get him to come here and chase me, but he doesn't seem to want to. Lucky for me, I was able to actually decap the 2 strategic points that connect the top left of the map to his base, so he's not getting any resources from the top left of the map, despite the fact that he has every single point up there, pretty much. Every single point being all of 2. So So yay, I finally drew him out, but I think he's actually still in range of the casualty clearing center. Called it the right name this time. And I'm actually losing the battle, so I think I retreated everyone there. Yeah, and ooh, am I gonna lose this squad? I don't remember. I recorded this game like 2 or 3 days ago, and I'm just now commentating it. But I don't remember what happens. I guess looking at the mini-map, I can see them still running, so they did not die. He chased with his Bren carrier, so I guess I was pretty lucky that I was faster than his Bren carrier. So status report. I have cut him off from the top left of the map. He is probably capturing those 2 points back so he can get resources from the top left, but I've also cut him off from this munitions point. And I'm moving my pioneers to the left, so just like in my retreat paths video, you want to move them so they won't retreat through enemy lines, because they might die if they do that. And I'm still expecting a tank. I'm wondering, like, why he's not taking it all. I have yet to see a captain or a steward. He's probably going for tier 3 really, really quickly. That's what he's gonna do. That's probably his strategy. So I'm preparing for Cromwells and Fireflies, but 2 Panzerschrecks so far, and a Pack 38. Or is the Pack 40 in this game? The Pack whatever. I think it's Pack 38 in this game. I think Pack 40 was Men of War. Anyways, building a bunker now, so I'm just like, my attacks are going semi-well, they're not going too great. He is not building up much of a defense, so I'm going to go ahead and build a bunker and make it a med bunker. I'm also going to go ahead and get veterancy so that whatever my opponent comes out with, whether it be a tank or more infantry, because I'm not really sure what he's going to come out with yet. I'm expecting a tank, but I don't actually know what is going to happen. I'm going to get veterancy so that no matter what comes out, I can at least protect myself or survive a little bit longer anyways. Even if I can't protect myself, I can at least survive and stall whatever comes out. So if he has a Cromwell that comes out, I can have one, say, Vet 2 or 3 infantry squad stall the Cromwell by staying in one spot while the rest of my squads go do something else to be productive. So my Vet 2 or 3 infantry squad will actually survive longer because of their Vet. And that way the Cromwell is only damaging that one squad rather than my whole army or something like that. And Vet will help me there. So when you don't know what to expect, getting Vet might be the best option you have, as Wehrmacht anyways. And the opponent just ran over one of my mines, which was strategically placed next to a munitions point, and there is a Cromwell, just as I thought. So now this Volk squad is going to stay here, and I'm sending my 2 Panzerschreck Grenadier squads, which are about to get Vet 2. I actually bought Vet 2 a little bit earlier, but it's not activated yet. I'm sending them to go fight the Cromwell while my Volks are stalling the Cromwell. This is like perfect. I didn't even remember this part, but it's like a perfect example of what I was saying. Good games are good games to teach with. Did that make any sense? Probably not. This was a good game that I picked to teach you guys stuff with. There we go, that kind of made sense. So now I have Crack Infantry, which is Vet 2. I still have to kind of question the names they made the infantry vets, and actually, well, I guess Vet 1, Vet 2, Vet 3, because it's Crack Vet 2 for no matter what kind of vet, as long as it's Vet 2, it's called Crack. Yeah, gotta kind of question the names. So, on the left side, there was an AA gun, whatever that thing is called, Bofors cannon, that's what it is. And so I had to move my infantry back. A little fun fact about the Bofors cannon that will really, really help you fighting it. It does more damage at long range than it does at close range. So if you find a Bofors cannon, if you are able to destroy it with whatever you have, just charge in really, really close to it, like point blank, and you'll be able to kill it. Because it will have some trouble damaging you at point blank. So, yeah. If you find a Bofors cannon, don't fight it at long range unless you absolutely have no choice, because it does the most damage at long range. And I almost had this Cromwell dead. I was like, oh, I should have killed it. So I'm getting these Volks ready to use a Panzerfaust on the back of it. I tell them to use the Panzerfaust just in time to hit the back of it, but it doesn't kill the Cromwell. I thought it was going to kill it. Sadly, it didn't. And I'm sending 3 Volk squads to this victory point. That's interesting. I guess I really wanted to keep that victory point, didn't I? I'm also mining the middle because I'm expecting a tank to show up somewhere in the middle at some point because I know my opponent's going to want the middle. But I also know that he thinks I'm defending the middle a lot. So if I just place mines to defend it and I use my infantry to protect the right side victory point as well as attack him on the left side, he will think I have a bigger force than I do, because he'll think I still have a lot of stuff protecting the middle, even though I don't. And I will actually have mines protecting the middle, so if he does decide to attack the middle, he will be slowed down somewhat. And then I see the Bren carrier here is just like, oh, pack, kill it, kill it. Yes, the Bren carrier can't move. Pack's in the way. Yes, Bren carrier down. There we go. That's a big help because he no longer has the Bren carrier. He no longer has a mobile fighting force, except for, well, in terms of armor, except for this thing, whatever that thing is called. T-18. I really have no idea what that thing is called. I just know it's a replacement for the Stuart, I guess. Yeah, it's not a replacement for the Cromwell. What's the replacement? There's something that's a replacement. No. That's a replacement for the Cromwell command tank, I believe. I'm not so sure, but anyways, it's a replacement for something, and it is overpowered in my opinion. So I'm trying desperately to kill it with this pack at long range rather than short range. And at the same time, on the left side, as we are probably about to go to, there we go. You see, I charged into the Bofors cannon, and it's not doing much damage to me at all, because it really can't do much damage to anyone at close range. I also have Vet 2, and that's helping a lot, but it does a lot more damage at long range than it does at close range. And here, the pack almost took this thing down. I tell my Volks to Panzerfaust it. Yeah, that didn't kill it either. Just like I expected the Panzerfaust to kill a Cromwell. It didn't do it. I expected the Panzerfaust to kill this thing. It didn't do it. Luckily, I had another pack that was just happened to be coming up at the time that the vehicle showed up next to my infantry and units. So the second pack managed to take it down, and that's no longer a threat. Then I have this battle on the left going on. My Grenadiers managed to take down their cover. It's like they don't want to be in cover. They shoot the cover with their Panzerschrecks at point blank. They destroy their own cover while leaving the enemy with cover, and they just are stupid like that. I actually heard that they fixed the bug where infantry ran out of cover when, well, randomly. They'll just, like, you'll have them in cover, then they'll just run out of cover. They fixed that bug in they fixed the bug in Company of Heroes 2. So that bug is no more. That is awesome. They actually fixed it in Dawn of War 2. When I played the beta, they had actually already fixed the bug. It was something with the engine, I believe. That wouldn't make much sense, actually. AI should not be part of an engine. So they actually fixed it in Dawn of War 2, and they have moved that fix over to Company of Heroes 2, so we don't have to deal with that anymore. Celebrate. It's awesome. They won't have that bug, which means our guys will survive and be smarter than they usually are. I've actually gotten kind of used to the bug because I'm not competitive in this game. I mean, I always want to be a higher rank. Anybody would want that, but I'm not competitive, so like if I lose a game, I'm usually not too mad unless I lost for a stupid reason, such as, well, I don't know. But if I lost for a stupid reason, I tend to just quit. I don't say GG or anything. If I lose for a stupid reason. If I lose for a valid reason, like my opponent was legitimately better than me, then it's okay, and I don't mind that much. But if I lose for a stupid reason, I guess like infantry running out of cover a lot, getting really unlucky with that, that sucks. Yeah. Oh well, let's talk about something else. So left side still defended with an MG and a pack. Right side I am attacking my opponent with 2 Volk squads, and I have a Panzerschreck Grenadier squad in the retreat path of my enemy, sorta kinda. They're not exactly in the retreat path, but they're sorta kind of in the retreat path, behind some cover. I really didn't need that cover, but ooh, a Firefly is showing up. My opponent really is working with tier 1 and 3. He's not doing much with tier 2. I did notice that he had, what's that unit? Sappers with Piats. which I'm not sure why he put Piats on them. Maybe he was expecting me to have a tank, which I never actually intended on doing in this game. I never actually intended to make a tank. So he is doing a little bit with tier 2, but he's mainly fighting with tier 1 and 3, which is not working out too well for him. As you can see, he is able to every once in a while capture the right victory point or attack it anyways. Maybe he can't capture it, but he can at least attack it and do some damage. But he's not making much progress with his attacks like I was with mine. Now, if you'll pay attention to the mini-map, you'll see at the very top I no longer have that top munitions point, and I believe that's because some commandos showed up. Is that what happened? No, he had a random infantry squad that got behind my lines without me noticing. That takes some skill. To get up to that point without me noticing, that takes a lot of skill because you have to avoid the line of sight of all those points along the way. So that was tough for him. Lucky for me, he retreated right through my base, where I have MGs just ready to kill. That sucked for him. He would not plan his retreat path correctly. He actually sniped one of my pioneers, and then he retreated. He might have actually been able to win that fight against the pioneers, despite the fact that flamethrowers do a lot of damage against Brits and Panzer Elite. Flamethrowers they have a chance of missing with their whole flame thingy. So there's a chance it wouldn't even hit the opponent's squad at all, and well, you have a pretty good chance of winning even against them sometimes. And my opponent decided to probe the middle, I guess. He's not really attacking the... Nope, he's attacking now. Yeah. He is definitely attacking the middle now. He was trying to flank my MG. It didn't work out so well. He did manage to send artillery, and I guess this is where we start with the... this isn't where we start with the avoiding artillery. I meant avoiding on-map artillery rather than off-map. Off-map, you always know where that's going to be because you can see the red flares. On-map artillery, you usually don't know where that's going to land, so you have to be cautious with that. And that's really what this is about. On-map artillery is pretty easy to avoid if you know it's coming in time. You have to know it's coming in time. I mean, if you don't realize it's coming, you won't avoid it, obviously. So his attack on the middle did not go well. He does have a Cromwell on the left side, and a Firefly, actually. So he has two tanks on the left side. And I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta protect my base, so... This happened in the past. In this game, I built the Flak 88 in my base because I knew he was going to attack my base with those tanks. So I built the Flak 88 and my base is now fully protected from any tank that decides to come in there, unless he uses artillery on it, which would actually work quite well. I actually never bought veterancy for it. I just realized that as I'm commentating this in game. I never realized that I never realized that I had not bought veterancy for my Flak 88. But now as I'm recording this commentary, I am realizing that I never bought veterancy for it. I bought Vet 3 on everything else except for that. So I never bought Vet 3 for vehicles, basically. I bought it for tanks, I bought it for infantry, I bought it for support weapons, I never bought it for vehicles. And I just had so many resources this game because it was a 50-minute game that I was able to buy Vet 3 on all those. So there we have Vet 3 on infantry and Vet 3 on support. Next up comes tanks, because at some point in this game I will decide to buy tanks. So I just had so many resources because it was such a long game. A nice 51-minute game, I believe. I believe it's 51 minutes. Anyways, I am now blobbing because, as I have said many times in past videos, after about 25 minutes, that was my avast in case you heard that. I don't think you would have heard that. That was my avast, but after about 20-25 minutes in a game, my gameplay goes down the drain because I just get tired. I get tired of the fast mouse movements and fast key presses and all. So my gameplay's starting to deteriorate now, and that's why I'm starting to blob my infantry. That's also the reason I happen to lose this grenadier squad, and I'm looking around the house like, where did they go? How did they die? Because I thought they were perfectly fine and weren't gonna die, but obviously I was wrong. And now I have this mortar to take care of, but luckily I have 2 squads with Panzerschrecks, and one of them might actually have 2 Panzerschrecks. Yeah, there's 3 Panzerschrecks there, so one of them has 2 Panzerschrecks, which I decided to do once I saw the Firefly and Cromwell. I was just like, I need some anti-tank. And Panzerschrecks are not too bad against infantry. They're not the best, but they're not too bad either. And I accidentally selected my pack here. That was just a mistake, so I had to reposition that again. But hey, he was not using his recon squad appropriately. He charged into my MG, but then it's like, oh, you're sending down artillery. Maybe you did use that correctly. Come on, MG setup, there you go. I don't know if I win this battle or not, I can't remember. I have vet 3 on infantry and support, so my MG does have vet 3, but it died. He retreated, wow. And I think I told my 3 squads to shoot the lieutenant, but they don't actually hit the lieutenant very much. Yep, the lieutenant gets out pretty much unscathed. Looked like he had 1 bullet's worth of damage, so that sucked. But at least I did win the battle. And look at that, you're sending down artillery on me. Noobish mistake. If you're going to send down artillery on a flanking squad on another part of a map, it doesn't have to be a flanking squad, but if you're going to send down artillery on a squad, try to do it when something else is going on somewhere else in the map. So if he had sent down that artillery on my 2 units as we were fighting in the middle, I would not have noticed that artillery because I was too busy focused on the middle. So that's a perfect time to send down artillery on your opponent. However, once the fighting in the middle is done and you decide to send down artillery on the other areas of the map wherever your opponent is, it's not going to work as well because most likely your opponent just now noticed that he has a fight going on another part of the map that he forgot about. So it doesn't work quite as well. So that was a noobish mistake on my opponent's part. This was smart. He retreated just in time, and oh, there are some commandos capturing that point. I don't really need that point. It's not going to cut me off from anything at all. But I should go kill those commandos. So I'm going to send all 3 of my squads, my Volks, my Grenadiers, and my Pioneers with flamethrowers, to go kill them. And I think if I look at the minimap, yeah, those guys are dying. My Pioneers should do a lot of damage, though. They're vet 3, so they have a lot of health and armor and such. And yeah, he retreated in time, so that was a good move by my opponent. Wow. Pronounce things appropriately. So I've got an Ostwind now, and well, that attack on the left didn't go so well. I didn't realize that my opponent had a Cromwell still on the left side, and oh, you're sending down more artillery on me. Ugh. Quit doing that. And it was real artillery. I guess. No, let's talk about the Ostwind first. I decided to buy an Ostwind because I knew my opponent had a lot of infantry, and I had enough anti-tank that I could handle anything my opponent threw at me, because I know he went the Royal Commandos doctrine, so he's not going to have Churchill tanks. So the best tank he can have is a Firefly or a Cromwell, and I have enough anti-tank to deal with both of those, so I should buy an Ostwind and have a lot more anti-infantry than, say, a Panzer IV or a Panther. And a noobish mistake I see a lot is the Panther. The Panther is not good against infantry at all. Do not buy the Panther if you're going to fight infantry. The Panther is anti-tank only. You'll be lucky if the Panther kills even 1 guy from a whole infantry squad. It is not good against infantry at all, and it's not meant to be. So don't buy a Panther if you need anti-infantry. You buy either a Panzer IV or an Ostwind, both of which are good against infantry. You buy the Panzer IV if you need slightly more armor and some form of anti-tank, which in this case I did not, because I had enough anti-tank that I was able to defend myself. So now I should talk about the other thing I wanted to talk about, which was my opponent's artillery decisions. So as you can see, he is sending in a lot of off-map artillery, with the one with the red flares. And I realized that when I was playing. I was just like, you keep sending in off-map artillery. At some point, you're gonna run out of munitions, and I'm gonna win this because you can't do anything against me because you don't have enough munitions to fight me. So every time he sent off-map artillery, I was just like, okay, that's another few munitions that you have lost. At some point, you're gonna run out. So I was just like, well, I'm just gonna wait this out. You can keep sending out as much artillery as you want. I'm gonna keep avoiding it, and at some point you're gonna run out of munitions because that's just how it works. So that last one he sent was real artillery, but he also has the ability to send down fake artillery, which he did not do yet, and this right here is when I noticed, oh, he has on-map artillery as well. Wow, you're going artillery heavy. And I tried to attack the left again. That didn't work out so well because that Cromwell was still there. I thought he would have moved it by now, but apparently not. Ooh, my Ostwind is in the perfect spot. I actually had it on the right side protecting the victory point because I had everything else in the middle because he was attacking the middle, so I wanted to defend the middle as well as I could, even though it didn't actually work because he now has the middle. But my Ostwind was protecting the right side because I knew he couldn't kill the Ostwind with anything except for tanks because that was the only anti-tank he had. And he wouldn't want to send a full-on tank to go kill my Ostwind. I know he wouldn't want to do that because he knows I would attack the middle and he would lose the middle. So I decided to take my Ostwind and go kill the 25-pounder that was sending a lot of artillery my way. And here he goes again, sending some off-map artillery. I realized it just a little bit too late, so I hit the retreat button, which is what I did a lot last game, except this time for a different reason. This time it was because I saw the artillery too late and I wanted to make sure I didn't die from it. But lucky for me, or rather unlucky for me, it was not real artillery, so I retreated pointlessly. It didn't cost him anything to make me retreat, and I actually lost a hold on the middle somewhat because of it. And now he's moving up on my bunker, so I'm just like, okay, everyone, get over here, protect that bunker, because I do not want to lose that bunker. If I lose that bunker, I have no more medics, and I want medics. I want free squads. Sadly, he did actually send a Firefly to go kill my Ostwind. I was wrong, I thought he wouldn't. Apparently he did. And he did kill my Ostwind, so that sucked, but I think I'm actually buying another one right now. It's being produced in the tier 4 building. And he sends down real artillery on my bunker. Yep, there we go, real artillery. Lucky for me, I am defensive doctrine, so it doesn't do much damage to the bunker. If you're defensive doctrine, your bunker gets 50% more health. If you have the second item on the left side of the doctrine, whatever that item is, I don't know. But then he decides to send on-map artillery at the bunker as well to try and destroy it. So I have to move my squads back. I can't complete repairing it. I can't go protect it. Luckily my opponent can't attack it either because artillery is being called down on it. He would be killing his own infantry if he decided to try and attack. So I decided to take all of my infantry, which I am now blobbing very, very heavily, and move on to the left side, just like, well, okay, I haven't attacked the left side in a little while, let's go do that. And the Cromwell is still there, so I'm just like, well, okay, that's fine. I have some Panzercheck squads. Kill the Cromwell and then retreat because there's artillery coming down. And it was real artillery, lucky for me, so just like, yay! More wasted munitions from my opponent. He might have saved his Cromwell, but it's not really worth it because that Cromwell will go down very quickly later on, just from the sheer number of packs and Panzerschrecks that I have. I have so much anti-tank, which is why I decided to buy the Ostwind, as I said before. I had plenty of anti-tank, didn't need any more. So now I have the Ostwind, a second Ostwind rather, and my opponent is attacking the right side. However, I don't send the Ostwind to the right side to go protect it, because if you look on the minimap, there's a, well, there was a red triangle, which means that my opponent's Firefly is still on the right side, so my Ostwind would just die if I sent him over there. So I decided to move my infantry on the left again, this time avoiding the Cromwell. And hey, look at that, a pack that you stole. How dare you steal my pack? I'm gonna kill this squad. And there's a mine. I was just like, great, that's not exactly what I wanted to run into as I'm blobbing my infantry like a noob. He decides to send down some artillery. Lucky for me, it was not real artillery. If it was real artillery, I actually would have lost quite a few squads there. But I also think I might have realized it was not real artillery because the real artillery makes the sound of a shells firing, I guess, in the background. It's kind of soft, but you can hear it pretty well. So I think I didn't hear it that time, so I knew it was not real artillery. And here comes some of the avoiding artillery part. Like, he's firing his on-map artillery, so I don't know where it's going to land. But it turns out this time it landed on the victory point area, the middle victory point area. And I did manage to avoid it by moving my infantry to certain spots of the area, because he was firing in the middle of it, so I just moved to the outskirts of it, and I could still protect it while not being hit by the artillery. And then once the artillery is over, I move my squads over to the right for some reason. I guess I wanted those 2 pioneers to repair the bunker for one, but then I don't know why I moved the other squads there. Maybe it was just to blob them all up again and get a good attacking force again, so I can have a little bit of an easier time fighting my opponent. Because as I said, my gameplay goes down the drain after a little while, and blobbing makes it much easier to play, although it does make you worse at the game because it's not as effective as not blobbing, I guess. And my Ostwind in the middle is attacking infantry, and I'm keeping it at long range because my opponent is now blobbing, and the Ostwind is kind of weird. It doesn't do more damage at long versus short range. Rather, it does different damage, a different kind of damage. So at close range, it will be more accurate, so it'll hit infantry head-on, like individual infantry soldiers. At long range, it does the same amount of damage, and yeah, pretty much the same amount of damage in a different way, and that is, it does splash damage. It has more splash damage at long range, while at short range it has more accuracy. So if you have an Ostwind and you want it to do splash damage to a blob of infantry, keep it at long range. If you want it to kill an individual soldier, keep it at short range and kill that soldier. So that's just how the Ostwind works, and that's a little tip to help you guys. My jaw is getting sore. This is a long video. Yeah, very long video, but it's almost over, I think. I sat down to record an hour ago, but it's a 50-minute video, so this has to be almost over. I don't know, I'm watching this in full screen, but so I can't really check. And if I hit the escape key to check, it will stop recording my voice. So I'm just going to keep recording, and we're going to see how long this video is. It's going to end soon, I'm sure, because it's, like I said, a 50-minute video. Anyways, ignoring the fact that it's going to end soon, I believe. I may be totally wrong about that. My Ostwind is now in trouble because of the Firefly on the left side. So I moved my Ostwind back, and I made sure the bunker was repaired. I made sure that I'm capturing the right side back because my opponent actually took it from me. And I'm sending my Ostwind to the right side again so that it can not die. And I'm sending my 2 Pioneer squads here to repair it. Then I have a Panzerschreck squad of Grenadiers with Vet 3, like all my other infantry, fighting some commandos and the Firefly, and I think they actually lose this battle. Yeah. Despite the fact that they have Vet 3, they still lose this battle, and then my opponent decides to smoke himself, so he was concealed, and charge me. Luckily it didn't fully conceal him, which might have actually been a bug, I'm not really sure, but at least it didn't fully conceal him, so I was able to know he was charging me. Otherwise I wouldn't have even realized he was charging me. I would have just thought, oh, he retreated. That's awesome. Little would I have known that he was right next to me, charging me, ready to kill my squad. And my Ostwind's getting fired at from a Firefly, but I'm just like, okay, that's kind of fine. I have Vet 2 on it. It'll survive a few hits. I want it to kill the commando squad. There we go. And at least it made the squad retreat, even though it didn't kill them. And then I have Panzerschrecks here to protect my Ostwind while it backs up, and Panzerschrecks can kill the Firefly. because the Firefly also sucks, just as bad as Panthers against infantry. So if you want to fight infantry, don't get Panthers, don't get Fireflies. Those two are really, really bad against infantry. King Tiger is actually also kind of bad. Not as bad as the Firefly and Panther, but it also is kind of bad against infantry. It's more of an anti-tank tank. Tiger is pretty good against infantry and tanks. Oh well, moving on. I am now attacking my opponent's only Piat squad, and probably his only squad of... Well, I assume it's his only squad of sappers, because I don't actually know if it is, but it's the only squad I've seen so far in this game. So I assume it's his only squad. He decides to retreat, I decide to back up and reinforce in my bunker. So that went nice and well. He couldn't really attack me with Piats because all 4 members of the squad get Piats, I believe. I believe so. So he couldn't really do much against me because Piats suck against infantry. And I could actually still do something against him because Panzerschrecks do not suck against infantry. They're not as good as, say, a rifle even, or Kar-98, but they're not bad against infantry. And then I also had one guy with the rifle, and I heard the artillery coming here, that's why I decided to move my infantry as quickly as I could. And that's one example of avoiding artillery. I knew he was barraging that point, because he's obviously not barraging this Volk squad that he is attacking, and he's obviously not attacking the middle because he didn't know I had anything in the middle. I knew that he didn't know I had anything in the middle, so he was obviously attacking my med bunker because he's obviously going to want that dead. It's providing me with free squads. He's not going to want me to have free squads. So that was obviously where he was going to send his artillery, and I was able to avoid it because I knew he was going to send it there. And now I have Vet 3 on my Ostwind. So I have Vet 3 infantry, Vet 3 support, Vet 3 tanks. Not a single bit of veterancy on my flak from vehicles. As you can see, it's a Vet 0 flak. My Volks here are actually winning. Wow. This is pretty funny. He was trying to take over my flak. I'm glad I went defensive in this case because the fact that he decided to attack my base means, well, the way he did it, he would have actually been able to attack my base just fine and possibly win the game. But because I went defensive, I had MGs on top of every single one of my buildings, so he wasn't able to do much once he got in my base. He did manage to take my flak, which I realized as soon as at this point really, my Ostwind is now main gun destroyed, so I'm just like, oh my god, I need to kill you from that flak. Get off the flak. I don't want the flak to die, but I need you to get off that flak. And yes, he got off the flak. My Volks managed to take him down before the flak killed my Ostwind and before my Panzerschrecks killed the flak. I mean, killing the flak was an alternative to killing the infantry on the flak, but I was really preferring to just kill the infantry that were on the flak. But I still have my Panzerschrecks firing at the flak just in case I really, really had to kill it. In which case, it would be better that way than having my opponent have the flak, obviously. I would not want my opponent to have the flak. As I said, my jaw is getting sore, that's why my speech is deteriorating right now. Oh well. You guys enjoy it. I'm teaching you guys stuff that you all want to learn. So, he was barraging my med bunker, which I'm actually kind of surprised about. I thought I would have barraged the Flak 88 after my Panzerschrecks did so much damage to it. As you can see, it's like 2/3 health on the Flak 88. The infantry on it are full health, but the flak itself is at like 2/3 maybe. The white bar on it. So I'm surprised he didn't decide to barrage the flak and disable it and then attack with tanks, which is what I expected him to do. So in that case, I didn't expect the artillery appropriately, but I did manage to not die at the med bunker because I'm now keeping my infantry farther to the right, where if he decides to barrage my med bunker, he won't actually hit my infantry, he will only hit the bunker. So that was a smart move on my part because I was just like, Well, you keep sending down off-map, on-map artillery. Actually, not off-map. You keep sending down on-map artillery on my bunker. I should just maybe not be next to my bunker. I think that would be the smartest idea. And look at that grenade. Right in the middle of all four of my guys, only one of them dies. The others are like full health. That was amazing in that one squad. And he's sending down more artillery, and I couldn't tell if this was real or fake. I believe. Turns out it's real. And I see he has a medic coming out. I was just like, oh gosh. Medics are now in range. Kill the medic. Yes, medic is dead. And I'm winning in victory points. So I decided to send a couple squads to the left side. Hey, another medic, kill him. I decided to send a few squads to the left side so that I could take the left victory point. And the reason for that was, if I could take the left victory point, my opponent would have to spend time going back and getting the victory point, and I would also have all 3 victory points for a short period of time, so he wouldn't be able to, or rather, my opponent's points would be counting down really, really fast because I have all 3 victory points. And if you look on the minimap, there's actually a red square on the left side of the map in my territory. And I couldn't find it when I looked over there, so it's just like, that's probably a radio triangulator. So he knows some of the stuff I'm building. He's playing the Commando Doctrine very smartly, intelligently. Smartly is not a word. So I was just like, okay, we gotta end this before he gets too much of an advantage because of that. And so it's just like charged to that victory point on the left side, and then my opponent decided to attack the middle. On the right side, my Ostwind just took down the 3rd truck that the Brits get, so woohoo! He can no longer produce Fireflies and Cromwells. He only has tier 1 and tier 2. And my Ostwind with Vet 3 is actually taking quite a beating from the, Wow, look at that artillery. I forgot about that. My Ostwind was taking quite a beating from that Cromwell, but then that artillery, my gosh. I think I destroyed quite a few of his squads there. I forgot I did that. He had all of his squads sitting there where I could just barely see. I can only see it because of the extended sight range that you get with Defensive Doctrine. With the first ability on the right side, your strategic points and field points and all your points get extended sight range, so you can see more of the map. And because of that, I was able to see his units sitting right outside the victory point area. So I was just like, let's send down artillery on him. He will lose so many squads, it won't even be funny for him. And that is where I won the game. With that one artillery barrage, as if I wasn't winning it already. Which I was, in my opinion. And this game is now coming to a close. He has 34 points. I have all 3 victory points. And I am protecting the left side and the middle. I'm not protecting the right side, but my opponent also doesn't have anything really attacking the right side. So if you look on the minimap in the middle, right here actually, I am attacking him so that he will feel forced into not attacking a victory point, so I can just secure my win, secure my victory, which is more commonly how it's said. And at this point, he has 10 points left, about to be 7. There we go, and I know it's over, so I say GG. Which is kind of rude. You should never be the winner and say GG first. You should always let the loser say it first, because maybe they have a little trick up their sleeve. And it's also just plain rude. So yeah, I won this game with 244 victory points, and I had all 3 at the end. So it's a good thing I decided to attack him on the left side, where he didn't have much of a defense. I never actually got that 25-pounder in his base. And then I say a 17-pounder in his base, which is like, oh, I guess it's a good thing I didn't go attack, because I probably would have lost my Ostwind doing so. Even though I did lose my Ostwind anyways, both of them. They were more useful in what they did, and that lieutenant is actually Vet 2. That captain's almost dead. I wonder how he almost died. And I see he has his HQ on a munitions point, so it's like, that's very unusual for a British player. Did you use my strategy from my British strategy, that video I made? That's actually very popular. He never actually responded. There's like, did you try to use my strategy and lose with it? Because you don't ever see an HQ on a munitions point when you're playing against a British player. It's usually on a fuel point because they want to tech as fast as they can. That also brought up the question, if he was going to fast tech to tier 3, why was it on a munitions point instead of a fuel point? Maybe it was already on. Maybe it was on the fuel point when the game, at the beginning of the game, when he first moved it, and then he later moved it on to the munitions point. I don't think so. It wouldn't make much sense to do that. But maybe he did. I don't know. He never responded. I kind of wish he did. But anyways, I guess that's the end of the game. He didn't have much of an army. Yeah, he didn't have much of an army left. I had quite a big army left. I was winning pretty much the whole game. Hope you found this, guys. Hope you found this, guys. What? Hope you found this helpful, guys. And hope you found it enjoyable to watch. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.